Hi guys, it's Taylor Swift. I'm really famous now. I have like the biggest selling album of all time. But I'm just a normal, really tall girl, and people love me. And nobody should ever make fun of me. Not even you, Mike.
All right.
Just so we understand each other.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I understand you, Taylor Swift. Go on.
Alright, well, anyway, what you need to do is listen to independent podcasts like the one Mike does, because otherwise, the podcasts that are done like by the big companies, they're going to take over the world, and podcasts are going to turn to crap. Is that what you want me to say, Mike?
Thank you, Taylor. I can't thank you enough. Can we make this song stop?
Mike, you're such a jerk.
This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 837. Hello, it is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Today it's the finale of my Mike on Mobile Matthews interview with D. Edward and Jenna Lavoie. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's Pi Day 3.14159. Plus we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh my God, it really is Pi Day 3.1415. It is wild.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And Basil, the boxer, and I took a short vacation to aid me in my taxes procrastination, but it worked out since while I was gone, I had the realization that it's another one of my tax returns made its destination, and now I am a huge fan of desalinization.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Like in Texas, California could be its own nation.
Mike's
Only Texas
Daily
has a rad
Podcast.
energy
Yeah!
systematization. And still, we buy our power, and we are in a drought, and we need to make our own water out of the ocean. If it's not good to local sea life, then we gotta work out a way to fix that. Hello, vote for me. 2016. Wow, 3.1415. That's so weird. I don't know. Does that make you tingle inside? Then maybe you should get an ointment for that. Look who just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How you doing?
And it's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you
What?
I think you're being a little bit too excited about pi and the circumference of a circle and radii and all that stuff.
I think that's fascinating. That's the 14th of March, 2015. All those numbers add up. It's crazy. Does that mean that today something really incredible is going to be happening?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going to be incredible that's going to be happening is I'm going to ignore you.
That happens every day. Look who else just walked in.
Hi, Mike, I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, what kind of root beer did you make? Did you make a St. Patrick's Day root beer?
No,
Did you make a pie root beer?
no,
Did you make a special desalinization root beer?
no.
You're not picking up any of the themes of today's show. What the heck?
Mike, I made a delicious Wi-Fi root beer. Try some.
Wi-Fi? Why would you? Why the Wi-Fi?
Mike, it's your news story.
Oh yeah, you know the Japanese have done something in wireless tech that's truly amazing. Have they been able to make it so that you can use the Wi-Fi at Starbucks and not get that stupid advertisement for the latest Sheryl Crow album? No, something better. Mark, there's nothing better than getting a Sheryl Crow album off of a Starbucks Wi-Fi commercial. That's what I love to do. Well, Benita, that's good for you. But check this out. This, according to the dailytimesgazette.com, roughly 110 years ago, Tesla was able to transmit power without the use of wires and dreamed that he could utilize that technology to power the world. And now, Japan conducted a successful experiment on wireless transmission with microwave technology, and in just decades from now, they might be able to turn Tesla's dream into a reality. Scientists at the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA, yeah, they took the X from exploration instead of the E. They can do what they want. They were able to transmit 1.8 kilowatts of power through the air with laser accuracy to a wireless receiver with a distance of 180 feet away from the source. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited because this is like Scotty beam me up technology at some point. I mean, doesn't it seem like just a few steps away from this would be that technology? The 1.8 kilowatts of power was the highest recorded transmission through microwaves. And I'd like to stop for a second and say that Aaron Fonseca, who I did a guest appearance on his podcast called Your Nerd Side, we were discussing how I like to do a news story at the beginning of every show. And I told him like it was the last time I did a news story about how we sent a satellite to this asteroid. And he looked at me and said, "Who gives a f-?" And I'm like, oh, you really don't care about this stuff, huh? You really want to put your head that far into the ground, you frickin' ostrich. Anyway, let's hear it for people that show an interest in interesting things and that have a brain. No offense, Aaron. Anyway, yeah, that's what they did. Scientists did this at JAXA, and a spokesperson from this organization stated that the experiment's success opens a door to new possibilities in the field of energy transfer. One day, we would be able to tap unlimited solar energy out of space and use that energy to power the Earth. The idea is that a solar satellite would then satellite gather planets and antennas and set up. This sentence is horribly constructed. But look, the sexiest celebrity butts. It's just down the page on this website. Let's see who is the sexiest celebrity butt. And the first person to come up is... I don't recognize this person. Or that butt. Oh, there's Jennifer Lopez. Okay. Enough said. That article has credibility. The challenge of this moment is figuring out ways to assemble and deliver the huge structures into outer space that would gather solar energy and then send it here to Earth. It could be decades before we see practical application of the technology, maybe 2040 or later. I guess we'll be calling it 2040 by then, because we'll have evolved somehow. Knowing that something like this can happen one day excites every bone in the common people's body and why would you even say that sentence? Daily Times Gazette. All right. I'm clicking that off because that website has so much freaking Java and Flash and whatever going on it. It's causing my computer to stall. Why, if you have a website, do you have all this stuff all of a sudden pop-ups and everything and advertisements? Do you boycott those type of websites that have all that video pop up everywhere and causes your Firefox or Chrome or whatever you use to seize up? I just do not go to those websites. I've had it. The celebrity butts websites I will frequent. But what do you think about all that? Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-837-Pop. Does that excite you, Benita? Mike Matthews, I'm like so happy that someday we'll be able to use Wi-Fi to download Sheryl Crow albums. We can do that right now. Oh, in fact, I gotta do it right now. I gotta go, buy energy transfer, what? Happy 3.1415, Benita. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing a green shirt right now. I have to be honest with you. And, okay, why did you do that, Disgruntled Fiddle Player?
To prove to you that I'm ignoring you, and that shirt looked awful.
Well, it was green in honor of St. Patrick's Day, and now I'm not tan. I'm very white. I got trucker's tan, and I'm hairy, and I don't know if I should be showing this. I should be covering this up with a shirt.
No, there's nothing wrong about trucker's tan. Trucker's tan shows that you're partially redneck, and you should be proud of your heritage.
Okay, Disgruntled Fiddle Player, I am. So, are you happy about St. Patrick's Day? Do you love Irish music and Irish accents? And do you drive over to your local Irish bar and have a pint in honor of St. Patrick's Day? Do you eat corned beef? I'm not going to be eating corned beef this year. I forgot to buy some. And I remember last year it being so salty, and I don't care for that this year. I'm going to eat something in lieu of corned beef. Maybe toast.
Mike, how is that in lieu of corned beef?
I don't know. It's the only thing that's in my fridge.
Mike, I can make you a delicious St. Patrick's Day root beer right now.
Excellent. Okay. Nice. It's green root beer. We have green root beer here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. This is wonderful.
And Mike, I'm going to give you a pie. A green pie. Here you go.
York peppermint patty. When I eat one of these, I feel a waterfall falling down across my chest. That's a reference to a very old commercial. Thank you. And it's that kind of gift giving that happens only once a year here on Pie Day and St. Patrick's Day. So Merry Pie St. Patrick's Day to you. And tell me what you think about all those holidays and desalinization. And do you think we need it in California, or are you against it and it might kill every single bit of sea life? And how are you doing on your tax procrastination? Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-837-Pop. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to sponsor the show, MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We also have the website, MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, with links to where to listen to this show in all kinds of places. We're on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM, AmeriStreamLive.com. And you can share this show with your friends on Facebook. Like the Facebook page, and when I post a new show, share it with your friends and more people will find out about us. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, Yelp, Tumblr. Find links to where to find us on all those places there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. There's also the Amazon link. Whenever you're going to buy anything, go through the Amazon link at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and that helps us out if you buy anything through Amazon. And remember to support independent podcasts, because there's so many podcasts that just get too much publicity, and they're part of big organizations like Taylor Swift was talking about, the NPRs, the ESPNs, the whatever the network Chris Hardwick has these days. Oh, I guess it'd be Nerdist. Oh, and then Slate.com just kicked off a huge network called Panoply. Because they wanted to pick a word that everyone can pronounce. And see all these big networks, and they've got so many listeners. But what about the independent podcasters, the ones that don't have networks behind them? Please help support those podcasts. And you can also find the blog, the Daily Podcast Picture, all my past interviews there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. And speaking of interviews...
Mike on the Wild.
Wow. Oh my God. It's like something my dad would listen to. That's unfortunate, because she's soulful. I go back and listen to, because I was born in the late 60s, I'll listen to some 60s funk. It's good to... Why am I recording myself saying this?
I don't know.
You should open your horizons, right, Jenna?
Yes, absolutely. Open your horizons.
That's right, 60s funk. Does funk exist in the 60s? I guess it did, yeah.
Yeah.
60s soul?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, my music is kind of borrowed. Some of my songs are like 70s-ish soul stylings.
You got 70s, you got 90s.
Yeah. What I don't have is current music.
We're talking to D. Edward and Jenna Lavoie here at Vinyl Coffee. I shouldn't even give them a plug, because we're having to pay for our food, so whatever.
No, I guess if we had told them first, maybe they would have.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Dang, we should have did that. Let's call them. Let's call them like what's the guy from Journey? How he would say this? We're at Vinyl. We are at Vinyl.
I'm speaking with the lead singer of Journey, Arnel Pineda. I watched the whole documentary about him coming from the Philippines and all that. It was a heartwarming story, which is similar. If you didn't hear yesterday's show, D. Edward also was discovered sort of in a similar way, that he was playing the music of a band, and then Confunction, the band that he was playing the music of, found him, and now he's with them.
Yeah. Now I'm from Berkeley, so not from the Philippines, but yeah, it was in a hole in the wall. I was discovered in a hole in the wall.
Fit in that hole?
I fit right in that hole, just like a mouse.
You're going to play at South by Southwest.
Oh, that's right. I am playing at South by Southwest. Like on Tuesday, the March 17th. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
At the Jackalope.
Oh, yeah.
On 6th
Thank you,
Street.
Jenna. On Jackalope on 6th Street.
Yeah.
Jenna has more information than I do, and she won't even be there. What's going on?
I was supposed to play, but not this year.
I was hoping that Jenna would play it so that we could do our duet, but she backed out at the last minute. I don't know. I think it had something to do with... So I don't have no idea. With getting the 2,000-mile distance, and she had to walk.
Where'd you get your hat? Where do you get your hats? Your cool, smooth hat.
Subject. Where do you get your hat?
My hats come from hat stores.
Give Goran a shout out.
Oh,
Goran Brothers.
Right,
hat?
Goran Brothers. I have a lot of Goran Brothers hats. This one, actually, this hat I'm wearing right now, I bought in L.A. during Grammy Week because somebody wanted to go to the Jimmy Kimmel show for whatever reason. I have no idea. But we got there too late. We couldn't get in. And on TV, on Kimmel, you can't wear hats, right? And I'm like, well, I don't want to go in the first place. So I don't know. I don't have no idea. So anyway, I'm walking around.
We need to talk about this because people can hide stuff in their hats, or what's the deal? I don't get it.
I don't know. It probably has something to do with like blocking, like people behind you or the audience.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But so I would pose that to Jimmy Kimmel. Why can we not have hats? Because I'm a hat person and you taking away my personality, and that's why I refuse to come to your show unless you put me on, and then me and Jenna will sing "Show Me" for you in front of.
You should do that. Let's do that.
Jimmy Kimmel, are you listening, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm sure he listens to the show all the time. And I once tried to do an imitation of Jimmy Kimmel at the beginning of the show because I sometimes have a celebrity guest at the beginning of the show. Oh, the police are coming. And because they're hearing me start to tell this story. Anyway, I can't sound like Jimmy Kimmel. It's hard to imitate him.
Well, you actually kind of have the timbre of Jimmy Kimmel's voice, though.
Oh, is it timbre or timbre?
I think it's
timbre.
Timbre.
I think it depends on which country in the Philippines you're from when you say that. I know what it is. It's not timber because that's for.
It's timber.
That's for. What do they call them? What do they call it, guys? Lumberjacks, right? Which don't confuse that with the Jackalope, which is where I'm playing for South by Southwest.
And how did you set that up? How did that happen?
The South by Southwest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually part of the whole Balanced Breakfast thing. So it's a Balanced Breakfast showcase that they're doing in Austin, which is so awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's paid off in many ways, that Balanced Breakfast thing.
Yeah.
And their breakfasts are balanced. All right.
It's part of a complete breakfast.
Oh.
It is, but you have to pay for your own breakfast, though, there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we want to keep our musicians healthy and happy. And I have this question, but I don't know, because I knew we were meeting in San Francisco, but you're saying you're from Berkeley, Oakland.
Right, I'm from Berkeley and Oakland. We're meeting in San Francisco because I love Jenna so much that I didn't want to inconvenience her.
No, I moved today.
To where?
She moved to Oakland.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. No. I moved from San Francisco to San Francisco. Oh. I've been living like a crazy person out of my suitcase. I've lived in over 20 places in the past almost 2 years. It's been crazy. Just been bouncing around for a while. Stayed at places for free. I've stayed in the most beautiful places. Just lots of support from people and friends. And now I'm looking to rent. I've been renting for a few months, but I move a lot. I can fit my stuff in one little carload, and so Dale D. Edward. I can't do it. It's too hard. It's too hard. But he's moved me a few times. Like, I have a few friends that are just like, help me move. But today was another moving day, so it was just easier to come here.
I like Della Edward. It's like Della Soul.
Della.
Hey, yeah, De La Soul.
Yeah, Della.
Just me, myself, and I.
So what tips would you give to East Bay people about San Francisco? What have you learned about San Francisco?
Oh my God, how much time do you have? Well, I mean, I guess everybody's experience of it is different, but there's a lot going on here right now. There's a lot of controversy, about, everything changing in the tech world. But for me, it's different. I think if you're going to come to San Francisco, be ready for change. Just be open, because there's so many really awesome, rad things happening here. There's things that you couldn't even imagine that are happening here. Like, there's so much creativity. If you think of something totally random that you want to do, like some sort of like knitting and pancakes or something weird, I don't know, they have it. It's here. You can do it, So.
I like that, knitting and pancakes.
Yeah, knitting and pancakes group. I don't do either one, but
That sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
but I would say have an open mind and go do everything. That's what I'd say.
So compared to Rhode Island, San Francisco, what do you think?
There's no I'm sorry, but there's no comparison. I mean, San Francisco is incredible. Rhode Island is cool, beautiful coast. It's just not as diverse. There's not as much creative energy. And it's always different for someone when you grow up somewhere. I have my own relationship with it, but this is where I want to be. Hopefully, I'm going to make this my home base now.
Well, I hope you do too. And I just want to say that over the last 2 years myself, emotionally, I've been bouncing around from house to house. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Let's get deep right now. It's going to turn into a session. So much.
I see people.
You do.
We do too. That's okay.
I really enjoy this podcast today. This show is really good. I think we should do a podcast all the time from this vinyl cafe. We'll scare away women on laptops.
Yeah.
And
talk about Sade, whatever her name is, and scare people off.
Sade, just so you know, I did not pronounce your name wrong. If you're listening. Again.
Keep giving me the sweetest taboo. Too good for me.
That's right. You're just too good for me.
Tell me about the song I Love the Way. Not to be confused with High Fives, I Like the Way. Do you remember that?
I like the way you kiss me when you're playing the kissing game.
Very good. I thought that was like 500 years ago now.
It was. I remember my grandmother used to listen to that song when I was a baby. No, I'm just kidding. She used to sing that to me, to sing me to sleep. No. So I Love the Way. I Love the Way is, it's kind of my... Like somebody said, it reminded them of Elton John. It's probably that piano part that's in there. I have a real affinity for the piano, and so most of my songs are written from the piano. And I'm a groove guy, so that song started with that piano part. I'm really into like Sarah Bareilles as well. Is that how you say it? Bareilles? Sade and Sarah.
You know what? Say what you want to say. Just let the words fall out. Honestly.
Yeah.
I love her as well, and I didn't pronounce your name wrong either. Jenna made me say it like that. But so anyway.
I did not. No.
So anyway,
I think it is Bareilles.
Bareilles.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I don't know where I've heard this.
Well, I don't know where I heard it either. But so anyway, that's kind of a, I really like that kind of piano, kind of groovy stuff. And so that's basically where it came from. And, I don't know. What else is there to say?
It's great. It's a great track.
It's a great track. Jenna wrote all.
Oh, I love the horns.
I love that.
Yeah, Jenna wrote it.
I wrote it. Yeah.
Jenna wrote it, and I sang it while she wrote it.
Right.
At the same time.
Actually, I wrote the whole record. I
am
more.
actually Jenna's front person.
Right.
It's like the Milli Vanilli. So I'm Millie and Vanilli, and she's the producer behind it all.
Yes.
But yeah, I love the horns too. So my horn section, there are these two guys that won Grammys last year. So there's these guys. His name is Stephen Kuhn, who's a trumpet player, and Tony Peebles. I'm pretty sure I'm saying their names right. But they're friends of mine, and they're part of this band called the Pacific Mambo Orchestra. That's Stefan's band, and they won a Grammy last year for the best tropical album, which is like salsa music. So their biggest competitor was Mark Anthony, and they beat Mark Anthony out. Yeah, yeah. So they're friends of mine, and I'm okay with that too. And they're friends of mine, and so I asked them if they wanted to record on my album, and they were like, yeah. And so and so they're the ones. They're putting all that amazing horn stuff, and they're also in my live band too when I can get them to play with me. But and so that whole song, just the whole song. It's just I like to write feel good songs if I can, and so that's just what that song is really meant to do. It's just to be a feel good, I'm happy and I love the way you do your thing kind of song.
I love the horns. I have no idea how anybody's able to record horns and do that whole thing. Where was the album recorded?
So most of the album was recorded at my studio, which is called Chungo Boogie Music Studios. But the horns were recorded at Fantasy Studios in Berkeley, which is a very famous studio. Fantasy is a leftover corporate studio from back in like the 60s and 70s. There was a group called Creedence Clearwater Revival. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they call.
I'll have to look them up.
yeah. And John Fogerty, look him up too. He's unknown, unsung, but they were on Fantasy Records. So, and they call Fantasy the house that Creedence built, but then they call Fantasy Records. They call Creedence the group that Fantasy killed, but I didn't say that. But because there were some legal issues that have gone on.
Right, and like John Fogerty wouldn't talk to his brother ever again, and we're playing footsie, Jenna.
Right.
Oh, I'm really liking this interview today. Yeah, so you actually recorded at their studio?
Yeah, at Fantasy Records, Fantasy Studios in Berkeley. It's this huge complex of an amazing, so the piano that's in the room that we recorded in was the same piano that Journey did. Don't Stop Believing. That's where they recorded.
Such a famous piano.
Yeah, and then the piano that Bruce Hornsby did on that song, Just the Way It Is, that's the same piano.
Get out of here.
That's awesome.
It's a legendary, just the people who have come in and out of there over the last 50 years, have been just these amazing groups that...
Is that piano playing on your album?
That is not, but it's on my website because I did a selfie with me playing on it.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
That's DEdwardmusic.com.
That's right, DEdwardmusic.com. So, so we recorded that at Fantasy, and then we mixed the album at a studio called Jingletown, which is in Oakland. Jingletown is owned by Green Day, so it's at Green Day's studio.
Ah.
Yeah, and so my mixer, the guy who mixed my album, his name is Michael Starita. He, when I asked him his advice, he was like, well, we should record the horns at Fantasy because they have the big room, they have the amazing mics, and it's this great studio, but then we should mix it at Jingletown because they have all the bells and whistles to make it beautiful.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that's what we did.
That is amazing. I think I need some of their mocha. Their mocha looks good. They use Ghirardelli. Why am I giving them a plug? I don't think I'm going to get anything for free. Anyway, but the mocha looks good on their menu. Jenna?
Yes.
Do you ever see horns on your music playing?
Well, possibly. That's a big possibility, but right now it's just been me and the ukulele for a while, and it's actually interesting that you ask because we're starting to talk about a band, and because with the Balanced Breakfast group, well, I've already been feeling it for a while, but you kind of wait for the right moment. Not wait for it, you just let it reveal itself. It's like, okay, it's coming. Okay, now it's time to bring in more people. But with the Balanced Breakfast group, we did this rock lotto where we collaborated and formed bands and wrote music together and then performed them. And I was the front woman in the band, and I hadn't played with a band in so long, and I
really liked that band. That was my favorite band too.
And it was like I'm a performer, like, and I put the ukulele down for a little bit and just belted it out and diva'd it up there, and I was like, oh, it's time, so horns, hell yeah. I have to say though, we did the record release show for D. Edwards' album, and we performed the debut of Show Me, and the horn guys played on that track with us.
What I really like about them is that they just made it up right as we go. So they were doing that all night. Like, they were playing on the songs that had horns, but then on a lot of the other ones, they just they're so good.
Yeah.
They just were like making up stuff, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, because when we rehearsed, they weren't there for Show Me, so they just came on stage and did their thing. And D. Edwards' band is already incredible. Like, singing with them is an experience, and then having those guys up there, I was like, this is so cool. It was really, really amazing.
You mean De La Edward?
De La Edward.
Yeah, De La Edward. De La Edwards. It's just me, myself, and I.
Well, I'm going to play I Love the Way. Speaking of horns, you got me all horny, so to speak. And this is from your album, Love Is, DEdwardmusic.com. Jenna Lavoie, De La Edward, thank you so much for being on Mike's Daily Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Yeah.
And seeing if I
That is D. Edward as we go outside of Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. You know, he's been compared to Lenny Kravitz's Seal. I also hear a little Uncle Cracker in there, D. Edward. Yeah, that's, I know you're not admitted, not do. And I don't know what the lyrics, though I've heard this song too many times, so I will stop. Just kidding. Follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one that will shut up right now.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Big thank you to D. Edward and Jenna Lavoie. It was so great talking to them. And the podcast picture is with someone who definitely is in love with today, and that would be John Deere, the engineer.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I love 3.1415 day, Pi Day. And you and I, Mike, were discussing the wonderful thing that is your self-esteem.
Yes, my self-esteem. So I've got such high self-esteem.
It's not high at all.
No, not high at all. No, it's quite low. But we talk about that and about how smartphones are wonderful and all that, and how some of your friends are not good cheerleaders. And all that is encompassed in that cartoon today. See it now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Well, hi there, John Deere, the engineer. Hi. How are you today, Disgruntled Fiddle Player? I've been better. I don't need all this pie around me because I am on a diet. It's not about pie with an E, it's just P-I. John Deere, if it's P.I. Day, where's Tom Selleck?
That's actually a very good question, Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Well, you two can go get a beer.
Well, I've invited him over to my house to have Funyuns and beer, and he won't ever come over.
Yes, well, I wanted to come over to your house, or your trailer, or wherever you live, but you didn't even give me an address.
Well, I may have forgotten it. You never made a mistake?
I hope you two work it out, because there should only be love and happiness on Pi Day. And the next show, we're going to bring you the return of the much-loved feature called the Mikelopedia in Seneca, where we hear some fascinating facts you did not know, plus it'll be Madame Rutabaga Valentino and Bison Bentley stopping by. Ha-ha, Mark Panoply, that's a funny name! Yeah, Slate decided on using the word panoply to describe their network. Slate. It's even too liberal for liberals.
Mike, I want to send Sade green pie too. Instead, I'll just send her all these frogs.
Oh, how nice and how inexplicable of you, Brewmaster.
Oh boy!
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!